Sorry, I was making sure. What are you gonna do? I'm with you, dude. Wherever you're going.
Excuse me, guys.
Yep, we're standing by.
Excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry.
Nah, if they did, they were really quiet when they took me. Yeah, I'm just thinking. My initial adrenaline spike is going down a little bit, so. Again, my initial adrenaline spike is going down, so.
Anything water in there?
Good. I'm just continuously.
Yeah, do the same thing when I.
of these guys standing on top of the cars. All right, cool.
You're good. I'm ready.
Oh boy.
I don't know if that's ice because they're just in SUVs.
I don't even know what all that is. So I don't even know what all that is.
Yeah, I don't know if that's nice or PD. I'm going to get this ready for you, and then you guys figure out if we're going to do live and we hang out with you guys.
Do you guys happen to have a dongle or something? Oh, can I borrow your dongle?
Yes.
I just saw that. Sorry, I ran out and went in. I'll grab it for you.
All right. Yeah.
I'll fit in there. You have the camera to worry about. Look at Zach being prepared. I want to drop all your other.
Criminal investigation into felony violations of federal law. Now, that's all that was posted. That's all that we know at this time. And as I mentioned, the post didn't mention Zip specifically. Now, from what I was told, there was one more employee inside. I didn't see anybody come out. I didn't see anybody come out in handcuffs. I'm not sure, what happened to that individual, However, there are multiple exits through the back, so we're going to have to check in with this Zips location, with Gilbert PD, to ask if anybody was arrested here today, because at this point, it's not clear if there was, except, I spoke to the people who came out after being questioned by ICE. So I'm going to toss it back to the anchors at this point.
All right, there's a lot going on out there. Steph, just real quick, the communications officer who's out there, is that a communications officer from Gilbert Police or the U.S. Attorney's Office or from Homeland Security? Do you know who they are working with?
Yes, Jared, I'm so sorry. Thank you for asking me to clarify. That communications officer is with the Gilbert Police Department.
Stephanie Dupre live from the scene in Gilbert, and let's go ahead and get a live look from the Zips near Central and Osborne in Midtown Phoenix. Here's a live look from our AZFamily news shopper. Dozens of protesters have started gathering down there, and we're continuing our live team coverage tonight with Casey Torres live on the ground. Casey.
Hi, yes, we're out here at the Zips on Central and Osborne. This is a big crowd right here. If we can take a look, there are actually some police officers right now in tactical gear addressing the crowd. A lot of people have their cell phones out as well, trying to record everything. A lot of yelling out here, a lot of high emotions at this moment, but we can see the police are trying to be in the center right now of the crowd, and we see a lot of unidentifiable vehicles here that have the lights as well. So we know this has been going on for a few minutes too. People trying to address what's happening out here. But now we can see that, if you can take a good look at that, there's that officer in full tactical gear right now. Some of them also have their masks on at this moment. So a lot of emotions out here, a lot of chaotic, and it looks, there's a confrontation right now. There seems like there to be a confrontation right now with one of the officers and one of the people here out protesting. It looked like, from what I could see, it looked like one of the officers pushed one of the people there. I'm not sure what started that confrontation, so it is looking like it got a little bit physical here. It looks like this person in the neon green was the person that was pushed right now. So it looks like some of the crowd is backing up, but there was definitely that physical tense moment right now. So this is what we're seeing here in this moment. A lot of people, as you can see, are closing in into the officers. The officers seem to be walking away at this moment. Everyone seems to be following them as well. So we'll just keep an eye on this as well as it's developing. And a lot of people, again, with their cell phones out, walking towards them, chanting against the officers, and it looks like they are moving back, and the crowd is following. We can hear some of those police sirens going off now at this moment as well. Those are starting to go off. And a lot of whistle blowing happening too from the officers at this moment. So we're hearing those whistles being blown as well. But we're going to keep monitoring this as well and keep you posted. And Stephanie, again, is on the other scene. But we keep an eye on here and let you know as soon as what develops from here. Back to you.
Casey, thank you. Yeah, you can see all those protesters out there with a cell phone in hand. Everybody's recording what's going on, filling the streets, and it's kind of ramping up with people getting high emotions.
Yeah,
tonight.
we first got word of this, about an hour ago, and it seems like they were able to assemble there very quickly. For the last couple nights, they've been meeting over at ICE headquarters around the corner, so perhaps they were heading there to begin with and just diverted over to that Zips at the Park Central location in Midtown. Well, as we've been reporting, many demonstrations across the country over another protester who was shot and killed by federal immigration officers in Minneapolis over the weekend.
Nationwide, students staged school walkouts, and here's a shot from Chandler earlier as high schoolers left their campus protesting ICE filling the four corners at this intersection, protesting ICE in the shooting death of a 37-year-old ICU nurse who was protesting ICE in Minneapolis.
Well, now Democrats on Capitol Hill are threatening to cut off funding to immigration agencies, and that could lead to another government shutdown. We've got that looming, at the end of this week, right, Dennis?
Yeah, it's fast approaching, and the odds of another shutdown really are rising here tonight. And if you remember, last fall's shutdown went on for a record 43 days. It was enough time that most lawmakers thought twice about doing this again. But after Saturday, all of that changed, and now Democrats like Arizona Senator Ruben Gallegos say they are going to refuse to pay for what he called, quote, murder in the name of law enforcement.
It was, at the end of the day, a murder that was caused by unnecessary escalation of force.
That's why Senator Ruben Gallegos says he's refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security, a move that sets the country on track for a second government shutdown in 3 months. Republicans and the White House need Democratic votes to pass the $64 billion proposal by Friday at midnight. But right now, Democrats say they're a hard no.
It's time for the president to pull back. It's time for them to put a pause on the operation in
Bringing up Italy history as well. What do you have to say about that?
History is repeating itself. And this, as far as I know, nothing like this has ever happened in the United States. We have never had a government that pulls people out of their vehicles, shoots American citizens. I'm glad I don't live in Minnesota, but what's happening in Minneapolis can happen here too.
What agencies did you see out here?
I'm sorry?
What agencies? Immigration, police? ICE.
Yes.
Were you not scared for your life? We have seen people getting shot and killed.
Well, I got it was a little disconcerting when they put on their gas masks. And somebody said they've got pepper spray. I don't want to be pepper sprayed, but I want to be out here because I object to this. This is not what this country's about.
Thank you so much for talking to us. I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
I think they want us live soon.
Okay.
Okay.
You're a D-backs fan.
Yeah. If you guys can hear me, we're good to go live. We're good to go. the officers actually did leave, but there were moments where we saw the officers in their tactical gear, also with some masks on, addressing the crowd, blowing whistles, trying to get them all to back up. But we did see the crowd following them along. At that moment, when we were actually going live just a few minutes ago, we did see a man who was pushed back by an officer, and I did talk with him. Now, he tells me he was being told to back off. He said he told that officer that he has a right to be here and was not gonna go back. And that's when we did see that the officer pushed him. This man claims that it was the officer that put his hands on him first. I asked him, just seeing how there has been a lot of incidents now in Minnesota too, where people have gotten shot and killed in some of these protests, if he feared for his own life, and he said he has thought about it, but he would do this again. And we have been hearing that from a lot of other people we talked with as well, that they're willing to be here, they're willing to address what's going on, and even putting their own lives at risk. Again, that crowd and the police officers have left, and ICE has left as well. Right now there's only a few people lingering here, but the scene has wrapped up. But a lot of people had a lot of high emotions, and we will share that with you coming up later tonight as well. But for now, reporting live in Phoenix, Casey Torres, Arizona's Family.
That seems to have been the case at a number of the different Zips locations where we had crews. It wrapped up rather quickly today. A couple of protesters in different spots, but even in Gilbert, we saw a communications officer from the city of Gilbert Police Department out there kind of helping as well.
And Stephanie said that they went in, seemed like they know what they were looking for. She spoke with an employee who said that they were specifically looking for one individual. And we know, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office, that they had specific 15 warrants. So HSI is more about investigations of the business, not so much the employees themselves. We're working to get more details on that, and we'll get that for you. Moving forward, we've got crews fanned out across the valley, keeping an eye, and hopefully things will stay peaceful.
They did just send a quick update saying, as this is an ongoing operation and investigation, they're not going to release full details about those warrants just yet.
Okay. We'll stay on top of it, though, and of course, we've got those reporters out there. So should anything happen, you'll be the first to know. Let's check in on that forecast. We'll see.
across the valley, 15 ZIPS locations. Investigators with HSI serving warrants for different felony violations. A number of protesters gathered earlier at the Park Central location in Midtown Phoenix. This seems to be ongoing here through the night. We'll keep you updated and have the
Next, ET, our Spencer Pratt exclusive, a year.
We begin your news at 6:30, staying on top of some breaking news. You've heard HSI agents are serving felony warrants from a long-term investigation at more than a dozen Valley locations, including several ZIPS sports grill bars.
We've got 15 different ZIPS across the valley here. This is our news chopper over the ZIPS location. This is at Park Central, right in Central Phoenix, near Central and Osborne. And we told you these are HSI officers. The mission at HSI is cross-border criminal activity. So we're still in the process of trying to figure out, are they targeting employees at these locations, employers, or both? Over the years, we've seen several different similar investigations at different restaurants and businesses.
We know the U.S. Attorney's Office here in Arizona confirms that a federal judge has signed off on, again, some 15 felony warrants, which are being served as we speak.
And they're not going to elaborate on what those warrants entail until the operation is complete. We do have some other locations up that we know have been served. Scottsdale police confirm 4 ZIPS locations in Scottsdale have been served with those warrants. 2 in Phoenix, at least 2 ZIPS in Phoenix, plus a ZIPS in Tempe near Warner and McClintock, and a ZIPS in Gilbert as well.
Casey Torres is live in Central Phoenix near Central and Osborne, where we saw quite a large gathering of protesters. Has it dissipated quite a bit, Casey?
Yes. They have left. They were here for a while gathering around the officers. And look at this. This is the crime scene tape here outside of the Zip Sports Grill. There are still some people here hanging around, but the big crowd has left. So have the officers. Now, there were intense moments where we were there in the middle of that crowd. There was a lot of chanting, a lot of the yelling, a lot of people with their cell phones out trying to record everything that was happening. And we also heard some whistles being blown. And we did see that the officers were wearing full tactical gear. They also had their masks on. I spoke with one woman who was out here saying that's when she saw that they put the masks on. She became to get a little bit worried about her safety, just as they have seen things escalating in Minnesota. Now, we were here in that moment where we saw a man who was wearing a neon yellow or green shirt being pushed by an officer. I did talk with that man about what happened. He said there was an exchange between them. The officer was telling him to back off. That man was saying he was telling him, I have the right to be here, and he claims that the officer put his hands on him first. We did interview him. I believe we have that sound. Can we play it for our viewers if we do? Right, so we do not have that sound at the moment, but when I was asking him about what happened here and for him to being willing to push back and stand his ground, I asked him if he was worried about being hurt, just as we've seen in other locations. He says that he has thought about that and he is okay with putting his life at risk. That's what others have said out here as well. They're saying this is something that they want to continue fighting for, and they think it is worth if they put their lives at risk. So again, the crowd has left, the officers have left as well, and this is all that we can see right now of the SIPs with the yellow tape around it. But we will be working to get more information and keep you posted. For now, reporting live in Phoenix, Casey Torres, Arizona's Family.
All right, Case, it seems like a very targeted operation. It seems like they efficiently got in there. Again, we don't know how many people they were after in that specific location, whether they were the people working there, whether they were the managers, because we've seen them go after all of them in different kinds of investigations when it concerns cross-border crime, which is what this apparently is.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and check in with our breaking news reporter Stephanie Dupre, who is live in Gilbert, one of the earlier locations where HSI agents moved in and out rather quickly, Stephanie.
Yeah, you guys, and this area has cleared out. So everyone who was here in the parking lot, the investigators, everyone is gone, but that was certainly not the case earlier. And before we get to that video, I just want to highlight, listening to what my colleague Casey Torres is seeing downtown is exactly what we saw here, similarly to this Zips here in Gilbert. A lot of agents, and at one point I watched them all walk out with my own eyes, and there were 10, maybe a little bit more. So there was a lot of activity here, and as Jared and Nicole have been mentioning, that's what we're working to figure out. Is it the business? Is it the employees? Like, you know, this is HSI agents. We can go to that video now. I'm sorry. So this is the video that we've been covering throughout the course of the evening. So this is what it looked like at this Gilbert Zips this afternoon. My photographer Miguel was able to capture all these moments. Now, just to reiterate again, this is HSI Arizona, Homeland Security investigators in the process of serving search warrants. The attorney for Arizona didn't mention ICE in the release that was posted to X and all other platforms. Now, this was difficult for a lot of people today, obviously with so many questions in the air. Nobody knew what was going on. Employees were running out from the front at one point. One woman came out in tears, and I had approached her immediately, and she said, I was just cooking in the back. I work here. ICE agents came in abruptly. All of them had weapons, is what she was describing to me. She said in that moment, they brought all of us into the dining room and started asking me questions. Here's a little of what she had to say just moments after those, investigators let her go.
I don't know. They just came in, just like nothing. It's like we're looking for someone, we're looking for something, someone's making fraud or something, whatever. I had no idea I was cooking. And then they just like, you know what? We need everybody out. Like, they got everyone out. Like, everybody got so mad about it. Like why do we have to get out, you know? And they were recording and stuff, but they just were rude.
Obviously, as we've mentioned, there are other Zips locations that are going through these similar instances. So this is cleared up. We're going to head to another location and keep you informed as this breaking news continues to develop tonight. For now, live in Gilbert, Stephanie Dupre for Arizona's Family.
All right, Stephanie, thank you very much. We should point out, I don't think any of our cameras have actually captured any of these officers detaining anybody or putting anyone in cuffs or taking anyone into custody. Our video from our crews on scene has just shown them bring out a lot of documents and boxes and things like that, perhaps collecting evidence.
So we'll stay on top of that, of course. And we're also watching earlier protests that have been going on all day.
Yeah, these demonstrations over that protester who was shot and killed by immigration officers in Minneapolis over the weekend. That was the genesis for this wave of protests we saw today.
And it's been happening at schools nationwide, students staging walkouts. And here's a shot from Chandler High School. They left campus protesting ICE, and again, that shooting death of a 37-year-old VA ICU nurse who was protesting ICE in Minneapolis.
Well, now Democrats on Capitol Hill and some independents too threatening to cut off funding to immigration agencies, and this could lead us down the road of another partial government shutdown, Dennis, coming in a few days. We're up against another deadline.
Yeah, we just went through one record-breaking shutdown a few months ago, and here we are again. Remember, last fall's government shutdown went on for a record 43 days. It was enough time that most lawmakers were thinking twice about doing that again, but after Saturday, everything changed. Now, Democrats like Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego are saying they're going to refuse to pay for what he called, quote, murder in the name of law enforcement.
It was, at the end of the day, a murder that was caused by unnecessary escalation of force.
That's why Senator Ruben Gallego says he's refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security, a move that sets the country on track for a second government shutdown in 3 months. Republicans and the White House need Democratic votes to pass the $64 billion proposal by Friday at midnight. But right now, Democrats say they're a hard no.
It's time for the president to pull back. It's time for them to put a pause on the operation in Minnesota. They need to restore people's civil rights.
Gallego wants an independent investigation into the shooting death of Alex Preddy and guarantees that civil rights will be respected moving forward. Immediately following the shooting, the administration said the victim was a domestic terrorist, claiming he posed a threat to law enforcement. But now the White House appears to be walking that back and shifting the blame to Democrats.
Democrat leaders in Minnesota with sanctuary city policies have actively defied federal immigration law and the will of the people. And as a result of that defiance, 2 Minnesotans have now tragically lost their lives on the streets of Tim Walz's state.
Despite that, President Trump said he had a positive phone call with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. In the meantime, controversial Border Patrol officer Gregory Bavino and some of his agents are expected to leave Minneapolis, while border advisor Tom Homan is reportedly headed there. Whether that's enough to steer the country away from another shutdown, though, remains unclear.
The things that we can make sure that we could get in a bipartisan manner, no racial profiling. We need to bring warrants back, body cameras on, stay away from sensitive sites, get out of these urban situations, send Border Patrol back to the border to do the good job they're doing at the border. Those are some things I think are very key and be good key compromises that would get Democratic support and Republican support.
Overall, there are 6 bills in this funding package to keep the government up and running. Democrats say they are up for passing all of them except the one to give money to the Homeland Security. Back over to you guys.
And one thing you were pointing out that I think bears repeating is Senator Gallego would likely potentially support what is happening tonight when you have the U.S. Attorney's Office saying this is HSI Arizona serving warrants. This is not ICE going in without a warrant into someone's home tonight.
Yeah. You know, emotion is very high right now.
Sure.
There are a lot of people, a lot of communities here included, are scared. They're worried. They see the images on TV. They don't want that here. And when you see what's happening tonight, people are going to react the way we saw them act tonight.
Yeah.
And hopefully everything is safe tonight moving forward on this. But according to what we know, from what we hear, this was a result of a long-term investigation. Warrants were ostensibly, a judge issued them. They went and served them. And from what I was talking with Senator Gallego today, he wants to see that. He wants to see that in Minnesota. Wants that back here and wants assurances that immigration agents, federal agents are, keeping their body cameras on, working with local law enforcement, getting warrants and moving in that kind of direction. That's
Chain
what
of
he
command.
wants to see. Yes, that's what
Yeah.
he wants to see. And but what little we know tonight, I mean, we do know warrants were served. I think it's more of a traditional thing. I think it's something that Ruben Gallego, people like that, would like to see, and how they would like to see Homeland Security conduct their business.
More of a targeted operation versus a widespread sweep, where in Minneapolis there are 3,000 federal officers who are sent there specifically to do these broad sweeps.
And hearing about knocking in house doors with no warrants and things like that. Those are the things that Gallego is worried about and doesn't want to see.
We'll see if Congress can get things together and find some sort of common ground by this weekend, Dennis. Thank you.
Down to the wire again.
Yeah, again, here we go.
My goodness.
A number of Valley school districts are reaching out to parents right now who are worried themselves about possible ICE agents showing up on campuses. Phoenix Union sent a notice home to families letting them know that online learning is an option for them if they have concerns about sending their kids to school or showing up themselves for pickup and drop off. The superintendent says the district wants families to feel safe.
There is a sense of anxiety out there. Citizens or non-citizens, it doesn't matter. Everyone is on edge. And it's like bracing for a storm. And so I think our job as leaders is to keep talking to them and keep assuring them that we're going to do whatever it takes to support our community.
Now, Phoenix Union's digital academy that was set up during COVID is still in place, so the superintendent says the switch to online learning should be easy. Seeing everyone's on edge except for you folks in the weather department where things are looking fantastic. You're like our breath of fresh air, kind of.
Palate cleanser. There you go. It is 6:42 on a very busy Monday evening, and I do want to bring you some good news with part of your first alert forecast. We are going to kick off a warming trend here the last week of January. 69 degrees, which is perfectly on average for this time of year. 81's the record, not in jeopardy, set back in 1987. 2 69s, one at Sky Harbor, one out at Luke Air Force Base, and everywhere else just in the mid 60s, which is perfectly acceptable on a beautiful Monday evening. And here we are. As we end up the month of January, it looks more than likely will be 2 months back-to-back record-breaking months, meaning warmest ever December recorded, and it looks like it's going to be the warmest January recorded when it comes to average daytime highs right over 61 degrees. Always tracking changes in the First Alert Forecast Center. It's going to be another cool morning. We are going to be back to the 70s by midweek. And yes, look at how we're going to end up this month. 80s are possible for the weekend. Currently 64 degrees up there in Scottsdale, where, believe it or not, a week from tonight, the WM Phoenix Open kicks off. I'll have the rest of your forecast coming up live here at 6:30.
Scene, thank you. Keep it right here. We've got more live coverage of felony warrants being served at more than a dozen Zips sports bars in and around the valley. We'll be right back.
Like physical kind of
Well, happening right now, APS is hosting a telephone.
I was like, I don't know how to get the keys.
Get them situated.